Hello and welcome to Sasha and Goff Live Recorded.
I'm Sasha.
And I'm Goff. And this week we're going to be talking about our top 3 romantic comedies.
Ooh, can't wait.
Yeah, no, we were talking about this beforehand, how you, I literally made my list, I don't know, when I was thinking about it, it took me about 5 minutes.
You know, I had my number one immediately, and then I couldn't think of any other romantic comedies.
So did that one have, it was a trilogy, you just did 1, 2, and 3?
No, it was all Back to the Futures.
Those could probably work.
No, but I had number one, and then the rest of them, you know, what came to my mind, I was like, I don't know, I haven't seen like The Notebook or anything like that, so I don't really know. So I had to like look up romantic comedies, and then I realized like anything could be a romantic comedy because like there's usually relationship things, and so I was like, okay, it opened it up a little bit, and then I got to it, so I'm ready.
Good stuff. You're ready. All right. Well, if you want to get a hold of this show, one reason would be if you want to kick Shug out of the spot there. His time is up, by the way, but we did say that we're going to keep him up here just because his 8x10 is wonderful. So we're just going to leave it there.
Yeah, and I felt bad about calling him a potential future murderer.
Yeah, geez, if you listened to last week's episode.
Sorry,
Chris, I hope you have an alibi.
Yeah, and I hope we're cool.
All right, so speaking of
Tool
Shug, actually,
is a great band, by the way.
Tool is a great band,
Tool
yes.
rules.
Queensryche as well. All right, speaking of Shug, I got a little story I wanted to tell you, actually.
All right.
So, you know what? His nickname is Shug. I call him Chris all the time, so I'm going to say Chris. Sorry, bud. Okay, so earlier today I sent you a clip, a YouTube video. Did you watch that?
I did.
Okay.
I was a little confused.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I'm often confused, so nothing new here.
Okay, so I sent you a clip from a movie called Sailor Beware, starring Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. This is a movie from like the 50s, okay? All right, and I told you specifically to watch a scene. There's a guy who's fire knife dancing, whatever he's slapping to. And Chris, please excuse my ignorance here. I hope I don't screw any of this up. That is Chris's grandfather who is doing the dancing in that movie.
That's incredible.
Yes. So the reason he reached out to me, though, because 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking about Monster Squad, we talked about the creature from the Black Lagoon. His grandfather is in that movie. He said, and I couldn't find it on IMDb, so he might just be uncredited, but he said he's one of the first guys to get killed by the creature from the Black Lagoon.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. His name is Freddie Letuli. Chris, again, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. He actually did send me a phonetic way to say it.
Okay, so that is of what nationality, or like
Samoan.
Samoan?
Yes.
Shug is Samoan?
Yes.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
I like, every week we find something else. You know what? He's staying there for
Chris
good.
is a very interesting person. It's like and then we also found out that he's friends with one of the other listeners of the show, so they kind of connected again that way.
It's crazy.
Which was awesome. But yeah, so I wrote a couple things down here. He wrote down that he was cast in, and actually I was able to find him on IMDb. A lot of Westerns back in the day because of his dark skin. He portrayed a Native American a lot. And he said he is the creator of fire knife dancing. Now, I looked into that, and I was going to start talking about it. I am not going to do that. So just look up fire knife dancing, and Shug's grandfather is the one who created that.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to try and put it at the end.
Okay.
If I can clip that somehow, I will try and figure that out. That is very cool. I think it's cool to have a, like, Hollywood member of your family.
I believe his dad too was in some movies. Like he was in a Chuck Norris movie. I know that for sure. It might be Delta Force. I swear to God. But Chris, I know I'll talk to you. Let me know.
So many questions.
Yeah. No, it's he started texting me and I was like, yeah, do you mind if I share, man? This is cool because he's like, speaking of the creature from the Black Lagoon. So yeah, he texted me a couple weeks ago. I just forgot to talk about it last week.
Wow.
So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. I drove in a Tesla last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we talked about electric cars a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We talked about the Cybertruck. Yeah, I bought one. It's in your driveway. I don't know how you didn't see it, but you know, I am not an Elon Musk fan. Not like a guy that's just like, man, I want one of those Teslas, but pretty fucking impressive. Like just sitting in it for like 10, 15 minutes, whatever. My brother-in-law's got one.
Oh, I was going to say, did he tell you how impressive it is?
Yeah. Real impressive. Good. But the craziest thing to me, though, is the laptop-sized screen.
Yeah.
You know, like the touch screen. It's like, how is this, like, legal? You know, because it is so bright. And, I mean, it's like, how are you not working off of this screen constantly?
Yeah.
He's showing me, I mean, he put the car's driving itself. We're doing all this stuff. I mean, like, he asked me and my daughter Sadie first. He's like, you guys, like, you don't get, like, sick and stuff, right? And he's not, like, a cool, like, car guy, but he just wanted to show us.
Yeah.
So he's like distracted me, and then we take a turn at, like, 80. Like, we're going, like,
wow.
I mean, I could not believe the pickup in this car. How quick, like, there was no lag or anything. And to answer our question, we were talking about, like, electric versus hybrid. Those are full electric. So, yes, if you run out, like, a rescue car has to come get you.
That's really interesting. I've never driven in one, but I know some people who have them, and every single one tells me how great it is.
Well, it was kind of funny because, and Alex, you'll never hear this, and I'm not talking shit, but it was funny because it was almost like he was trying to justify to me having a Tesla, because he kept, like, he's telling me about the fuel economy and everything like that, and it's like, this stuff all sounds great. Problem is, I could never afford one of these.
I remember somebody was telling me how great it was, and I accepted their information because I do want to, like, know about it and, like, hear about it. It's cool. Like, they look cool. They look great. And then, like, we finished the conversation, and then, like, the conversation, there was, like, a lull, but we were in a group setting, you know? And then, like, after the little bit of a lull, it was like, check out the app that comes with it. And then I, like, continued it. And so then I was like, oh, cool. Dude, I thought we were done, but...
The crazy thing for me, I think that the thing that I was the most impressed with is that on the monitor, you know, where it's showing you drive, like, on the street, like it's showing your view, it literally is showing every car that is passing you. Like, I'm looking at the car and then looking at the screen. Like, there must be, like, it's literally monitoring each car. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So it was cool to, like, have been in one. And, I mean, he actually, we got out and he plugged it in, you know, so that was a little bit odd. And I was just asking him a bunch of questions. It's like, can someone, like, F with this? I mean, like, if you're just out in public, couldn't someone just kind of, like, rip the charger out? But he's like, oh, well, no, Teslas have this kind of, like, there's a certain, like, almost, it's an attachment that goes on the charger so that you have to, like, with your app, it, like, unlocks it, and then you can take the thing out. But
yeah, you should ask him if we can do a podcast in there.
In the Tesla? He'd probably let us, actually.
And just, like, let it self-drive.
Yeah.
Go where it can go to Glencoe.
And it's Glencoe. So, it's interesting because I'm thinking AI, of course, when I'm, like, sitting in this car as he's not driving it and it's turning.
Yeah.
So, it is interesting, though, because it's still... early on where the car is still trying to figure things out. So he's telling us, he's like, before things are happening, he's telling me, it's like, now it's going to drop down to this because the car's not exactly sure where we're going.
Wow.
And he's like, now it's going to dump us. And then sure enough, it's like, boom, and it's like it lost the signal because it's like we pulled into a parking lot and it didn't know where to go.
Wow.
You know, so it's, I mean, like, I'm never going to buy one. I mean, but if someone handed me one, sure.
Yeah, if I had the money to buy any vehicle... I don't know if I would buy a Tesla.
That's a good question, man. Like, I really like SUVs.
We should put that in the bucket, I think. Top three cars you would buy.
We would want to, if
you had unlimited money. It's funny because mine would still be like a nice Toyota Camry.
See, I wouldn't buy like an Escalade or anything like that.
I might buy an Escalade, but I wouldn't buy like a...
Not with the rims.
$200,000 Lamborghini, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's not my style, but... Maybe soup up a Yugo, you know, something like that. Get a Gremlin like Wayne's World. Yeah, that's the dream.
I had a Gremlin shirt on last week.
Yeah, you did.
I'm stuck in your head, I guess.
Yeah, last week we did our top 3 fears. I had 75 different fears since then added to my list. AI was one of them on the list, so glad we talked about that. We didn't talk about this. Got a new mic stand. We matched now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look how professional we look now.
I would like to say this is because of the money that people have been sending us for our Venmo thing, but I didn't take any money from it.
No.
This was my mom sent me a gift. Does your mom ever give you gifts for no reason? Like, my mom's never done this before.
I don't see my parents that often, to be honest with you, but not in a while.
My mom does not buy me gifts, like, randomly. Like, if it's Christmas, she'll get me something. If it's my birthday, she'll get me something. But, like, this was, like,
Did she buy you a mic stand?
I think so. I think so.
How did she know you needed that?
I have an Amazon list.
Okay.
That I was going to ask you about this before, and I never did. But like, this is how my family does Christmas. Mm-hmm. We instead of
just send links.
Yeah,
that's what I started doing. That
everybody just does Amazon, whatever, and that's just perfect. And then you're like, oh, the thing that I put in my list.
No, it's gone. Yeah. Well, it's almost like doing a registry, like for your wedding or whatever. Yeah. Like you're literally just marking off things you want.
Yeah.
The problem with Joni and I is that we share an Amazon account.
Yeah.
So
same.
It's like this is all great, but we both essentially have to use separate ones.
Yeah.
Me and Joni, using our friends.
Me and Joni also share an Amazon account, and so we have a difficult time getting each other gifts.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Megan actually opened up like a separate account, but it doesn't have Prime, so like she's paying more.
Wait, did you mean to say Joni or Okay, I wasn't sure if you just got the name wrong.
No, I
well played.
Thank you. Real quick.
Nice.
No, I got nothing besides that. I don't know. I just wanted to know if you guys do the Amazon gift thing. Like, that's what we do. We don't do any surprise gifts or anything like that. We're just like straight up like, here, this is what I want. If you want to get it for me, like, that's the problem is like when you put that forward and enough people have the link. Like in my family, there's like 4 people, and they're all like, the list is updated. Just grab everything. So, and then like the other people are like, add more to your list, and you're like, I don't have anything else. Like, no, sure. I'm the opposite. I'm like, there's nothing that I would need here.
See, yeah, I've gotten to.
If you want to give me cash, give me cash.
I've gotten to a point in life where I'll tell people like if they're like, no, that's not fun, and I'm like, then give me cash. Because last year I was asking for eBay gift cards, for Amazon gift cards. You know, it's like that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Because like reselling is probably my favorite hobby. You know, it's like, so get me Goodwill gift cards, I guess.
Well, and that's the other thing. I'll put like 25 boxes or like 25 mailers to send things that I sell on eBay, and they're like
rolls of tape.
Yeah, this isn't fun. I'm like, but I don't have to pay for it, so this is what I want or whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, the only thing I try not to do is have Joni buy me things that I'm going to try to flip, which I did last year. There was a bunch of like Marvel Legends that on like Prime Day, I saw that they were like half off or whatever. So it's like, buy me. And she's like, you're not selling these, right? Well, eventually.
I do have the situation where I give Megan like an eBay, like here's 3 things off of eBay I'd like, because I know everybody else is going to be fighting over the Amazon stuff. So I go, hey, no one else is asking about eBay. You get me these eBay things. And it'll be like a vintage Knicks sweatshirt or something. Everything that she's gotten me, and it's not her fault because I'm the one who sends her the links, but it doesn't fit the way I want, or it's too small, and then I resell it. And it's like, we just basically like took it from one eBay store and put it in another one.
Again, you were the facilitator. No, I might have told you this last year. I started using, speaking of eBay, the spendable funds. So essentially, like what you make. But no, that was awesome for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because for one, it's like it's not Amazon, so Joni doesn't like if I was I mean, it was just great. I'm asking people, and it's like, all right, well, can I find that on eBay?
Yeah.
Obviously, with Amazon, the shipping is better. But eBay, you have people trying to just beat each other out. Yeah. So it's like, It's great too because it's just money that I'm making from reselling, so it's like I'm not taking it out of the bank or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, anything else?
I got a couple more things.
All right. Yeah.
We got time?
We got time. We got plenty of time, my friend.
All right. Our dear friend Useless Dave sent me an interesting little nugget off of Wikipedia. This in case you guys didn't know, this is your number one source for Vladimir Radmanovich information.
Obviously.
And so Dave sent me this little nugget, which I found funny. I was talking about the jersey that I had purchased at Goodwill and how I believe it was Vladimir Radmanovich's jersey.
Number 9, right?
Number 9. Yeah. When they won in 2002, they won the World Championships. So he sends this little nugget. He says, during halftime of the semifinals game against New Zealand, so this is that year, 2002, against New Zealand, in which the favored Yugoslavia was losing, Coach Svetislav Pešić angrily ostracized Vladimir Radmanovich from the team because Radmanovich was eating a banana in the locker room while the coach was giving instructions.
Okay.
No banana.
No bananas, baby.
Zone.
Whoa.
So Radmanovich watched the rest of the game from the stands.
Damn. Did you have to buy a ticket to get back in?
It's interesting. I wonder if they meant just the bench or if they legitimately meant the stands. I
That's
kind of feel like it was the stands because it says, watch the rest of the game from the stands while Yugoslavia won. And then Radmanovic didn't play in the final game against Argentina as Yugoslavia won. And then after the final, there was more controversy because they have a podium where they give like the medals and
like
whatever.
The Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so at the podium, Yugoslavia goes to take the stand or whatever. During the medal ceremony, Pesic, the coach, instructed Aleksandar, I can't even read it, Smiljanic, who was on the preliminary roster but didn't make the team for the championships, right? Okay. So it's like a G League guy in the NBA, right? He told that guy to like get up on the to put Radmanovic's jersey on.
Fucking banana?
Yeah, and get on the stands. So Radmanovic, I'm assuming, watched from the stands as well as the rest of his team.
I hope the guy that put the jersey on was like a different ethnicity.
Yeah.
Like
So Radmanovic later called the tournament a big experience for him. Wow. So taking the higher road, that was pretty incredible. Dave found it incredible.
It's just like, dude, what? Also, he slept with his wife.
We are a very anti-banana country. We don't like potassium.
I love bananas.
Yeah.
Man.
So
Ron Swanson hates them.
So I thought that was interesting. And then the only other thing that I have, last week, me and Megan went to Madame Zuzus. Do you know what this is?
No.
It's a strip club.
Oh.
We just...
yes, I have been there.
It's Madame Zuzus is a tea shop in Highland Park, Illinois.
You talked about this a few weeks back.
Yeah, it's owned by Billy Corgan and his wife. And so he brought in Bozo the Clown to do like a weekend of activities.
This is, you said David Arquette, something with him, right?
And so David Arquette is the one who recently purchased the Bozo the Clown copyright.
How'd you like to be the guy that just said like, yeah, I own Full House now, or something like that, where you have the money to just be like, yeah, that's all mine.
Well, so it's really interesting because he's like, he loved Bozo, which is why he did. He didn't do it as like a business opportunity.
Was Bozo like nationwide? I mean, obviously it was recorded in Chicago, but like, was it that big?
I feel like we've asked about this before, but because it was on WGN, I think WGN is nationwide because like that's how people became Cubs fans, because like in different states, because it was always WGN was home of the Cubs. So like,
yeah, it had to have been. Cause
I would think so, but either way, Arquette's a big fan. So like he does this whole weekend at Madame Zuzus, which we bought tickets to, and I think it was $14.
Was this the first time doing it, or has he
First time, yeah. Which $14 is very reasonable in today's day and age. We had no clue what to expect, so we went on, it was a Saturday. That's where I got this little bad boy right here.
How did I not see that? I've been staring at you for the last 20 minutes, and I've not seen that.
So, so David Arquette bought this thing. We go there. We're walking to get to the place, and I don't remember what happened, but it was perfect timing. Megan was like saying something about clowns or whatever, and as we're walking down the street, out of an alley, a clown just walks in front of us.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying. I took a picture of it. I'll show you it. And we were laughing because it was hilarious. And so we go to Madame Zuzu's where they check our tickets or whatever, and that clown waited at the front, and he handed me a star, like a cutout star, like a teacher would give a star to somebody. And he goes, "Here's your tickets," like just like trying to be a goofy clown or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, do I put this under my tongue?" And like make a drug reference or whatever. And he was like, "No," like he got it immediately, which I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
And then later on, that same clown like thanked us personally for coming. Like we were leaving. We weren't leaving. We were going to get something to eat, but he thought we were leaving. And he's like, "Thank you guys so much. It's great that you were here." And we were like, "All right, man." No other clown did
Was
this.
it crowded?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. I mean, if it was like a small group, maybe he's like literally like, "Thank you for supporting us."
You had like time blocks set up. So we were from 12 p.m. till 2 p.m.
Okay.
And you go there and they had like old Bozo. They had the buckets. They had the marching drum. They had stuff for the kids like face painting and whatever. They had arcade games. They had a puppet, a Bozo puppet that like...
It was probably like was it like a Bozo museum essentially? Like pretty much anything they could find?
Yeah.
Like relics?
Yeah, and it was small.
Like pinball games,
It was like
that?
If you've been to Madame Zuzus, it's one room they have that like they do...
Where is this again? I'm sorry.
Highland Park.
Okay.
They do like shows and stuff like that. Like Billy Corgan does like solo stuff there or whatever. So they have like a room that's specifically for entertainment. And this is where it was. Then it's the tea shop. They were also selling T-shirts, which Megan needs to look into hers because like it was like a mail order, but you're in person, so they like wrote it down and
really?
she paid. Yeah,
Oh.
and I didn't want a shirt. They did have some cool shirts, but this was $5, and I was like, yeah, I'll take this. Like this is what I want.
Perfect for that spot.
Yeah, put it here, put it up there. Just have something cool.
Is that new, by the way? The Funko?
No.
Oh.
I've mentioned it at least 10 times. On
You
this
always
podcast.
just point up there, and I usually don't look.
That's what I'm pointing at every
up there.
time.
I'm like, I don't need to look over.
So here's the crazy part. We get there, and the first person that I see that's walking by me holding a salad is Billy Corgan. He's just like walking around.
I saw the picture on Megan's Instagram.
It was so funny, and Megan didn't see him, and then she's like, you think Billy Corgan's going to be here? I'm like, he's eating a salad 4 feet from us.
That's so funny, man.
And she looked up, and he was walking, and so she like took a picture of him like that. And then we realized, like,
James Eha was here too.
No, but David Arquette was there.
He was there.
Yeah, and he was Bozo.
Oh!
So he's dressed up as Bozo. He's having a good time. And then there's like 3 or 4 other Bozos. One of them very famous. He's like an Elvis Bozo. I forgot his name, but he's like around the punk scene and stuff
now,
like
are
that.
these the Bozo that we saw? Was that one guy?
Bozvis. Bozvis?
Did I say that?
No, I think that was his name.
Oh, okay. Oh,
like
geez.
Elvis
like,
Bozo?
Oh, no. But like the guy that we saw, like on WGN, was that
Yeah.
the same Bozo the whole time, or was that like,
There was multiple Bozos.
you know, because you can, if the paint helps cover it.
There were multiple
Okay.
Bozos. It was over decades and decades.
There's 2 Bozos right here, baby.
And the night before we went, they actually did a thing where they brought the one that we know.
Okay.
And like a bunch of people who were actually in it. Unfortunately, Wizzo has gone the way of SWK. Rest in peace.
It's the weirdest joke.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so like they brought a bunch of those people. Professor Andy, who was the leader of the band when we grew up watching it, and like older people. So they did their own like Q&A. We were there for like the kids event. We were in line to take a picture with them, and then they decided to like read a kid's book, and so we didn't get to take a picture with them, but we took pictures of them. It was really weird seeing David Arquette like as Bozo. Like it's just weird.
Does it seem like it's not him?
Well, you can't not, because you know it's him.
I mean, like, so when you actually saw, though...
Yeah.
Like, when you
He's not like,
in,
hey, I
like,
was in Scream.
No, but I'm saying, like, when you walked in, was it like David Arquette as Bozo, or did you have to be like, oh, there he is?
No, but we didn't think, like, he would be there in general.
Yeah, he's not, like, a local guy, right? The Arquettes? I don't think
No,
okay.
I would assume they're, like, Los
Well, I
Angeles
mean, Bozo,
people or
obviously,
whatever.
is a very Chicago
Yeah.
thing.
No, and so, like, it wasn't just him. There was a bunch of other Bozo people or whatever. But, yeah, it was just, like, we saw him and you knew it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could tell that it's David Arquette, and you're like, that guy was in Scream
That's
or whatever.
awesome.
And he's like, and you know, like, he's making jokes that are, like, somewhat adult.
Yeah.
But it's mostly for the kids. But every once in a while, it'll
Like
be like
SpongeBob. Like, everyone can enjoy it.
I don't know. I've never seen SpongeBob, so I'll take your word for
Okay.
it. David Arquette also purchasing SpongeBob, I believe. No, I have no clue.
Jeez, I was going to say, does he have that much money? Good Lord.
You're the man. Yeah. So he's up there, he's doing stuff, he's reading his book, they're acting stuff out. And by that point, we're like, okay, well, this isn't for us
We get it,
anymore.
yeah.
We took our pictures, and then as we were leaving, Megan had a fangirl moment because Billy Corgan and his wife were sitting outside. And I'm just trying to leave because, you know, there's like an aura that Billy Corgan has. You know, some people say he's a jerk.
Yeah.
I've never known him to be a jerk. I've walked by him before.
Yeah, see, I've never been in his presence ever.
I think a jerk would be like, you know, he's hides from people and stuff like. He's always been kind of like open to meeting. I just try to leave him alone because I know everybody's like trying to talk to him or whatever. So I'm like, all right, where are we gonna go eat? How are we gonna get out of here? Like, I want to go home. And she's like, I'm gonna say hello to Billy Corgan. And I was like, okay. And then we walk by and she goes, hi, Billy Corgan. And I'm like,
Last name too?
Yeah, last name, first and last. And it was funny, and he was like, hey.
Yeah.
And like, it was nice. He could have been a jerk. He could have just turned.
Yeah.
And it was him and his wife. And she also said hello to the wife. Like, we don't know her, but like, whatever. She's just being kind. It was cool to like see Megan be a fangirl for Billy Corgan.
The way you were for
I was for Peloton.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like the reverse.
Yep.
Like, to me, Billy Corgan is like wrestling guy, music guy. Like, He puts on comedy shows there too. Like, I'm a big fan. You know?
Do you ever do the thing though where you are in your mind like head over heels, but you're like, nah, I gotta look cool, you know, like, because I don't do a lot of things anymore these days where I'm seeing celebrities. I don't go to shows that much, but even being, like at a small show, like if I see like Nuno or something from a Wilhelm Scream next to me, it's just like, I just want to like tackle him and be like, I love your band, but it's like, no, that'd be lame.
I don't have like, that feeling, but I do have the feeling of just like, I want to leave them alone because I feel like people do that to them. Like for me, it's Trevor.
Absolutely.
It's Trevor from Wilhelm that I'm like, because he's a guitarist. Yeah. And I want to tell him he's my favorite guitarist or whatever. But mostly I'm just kind of like, can I get a large? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like buying merch.
Also, I love your music.
Yeah. Thanks for coming here. You know, like.
It's funny, though.
You want to say something.
But... Set Your Goals, a band we both listen to. I don't think they're a band anymore. Maybe they're reunion stuff. But yeah, I remember at a Warped Tour, I bought a couple shirts from them, and it was one of those where they're like, all right, thanks, have a good one. It's like, no, I was going to buy another one.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Oh, really? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. We had a good time. We were there for like an hour, and then we left. And then we realized that we were near... every year we want to go to the Home Alone house for Christmas.
Yeah.
And now it's not Christmas time, but I was like, well, we're in Wilmette or wherever we are. We're close. We should go, like, see the Home Alone house. And Megan was like, oh, my dog's here. Megan's home, so you got to run. You should run. So we go to the Home Alone house, and first we go to this vegan restaurant, right? We go to this vegan restaurant in Wilmette. That's when like things start to click, and I go, isn't the Home Alone house around here? We drive through Glencoe to get to Wilmette. Never been there. So we end up at this vegan restaurant. I go into the bathroom. In the bathroom of this vegan restaurant is just pictures of vegans. So there was like Stevie Wonder,
cool,
Novak Djokovic, some NFL player I don't know, Joaquin Phoenix. It was the weirdest thing.
This might be like the lamest thing I've ever heard anyone talk about.
So I start taking
the wall of vegetarians.
I start taking pictures to like share it on this podcast, and then as I'm taking a picture, a guy walks into the bathroom while I'm taking a picture of Stevie Wonder on the wall or whatever, and I look and I'm like, oh, sorry, and he's like, no, you're good or whatever, and I was like,
cool. He's like, I already got my Stevie pics.
I was like, this is weird, right? I was just taking pictures of all the stuff on the wall, and he started laughing. He was like, yeah, it's kind of weird or whatever. And then we ate and it was fine, and so then we go to the Home Alone house, and I'm like, okay, this is, it's cool, right? You go to the Home Alone house. I'm not expecting anyone to be there.
The family lives there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a gate, and it is opened. And we pull up, and, like, we're just, like, sitting there, and we're going to take pictures, like, in front of the house. There's signs that say, like, don't step on the grass or whatever. And as we start taking, like, selfies and whatever, the gate starts to close slowly. Like, they saw us, and we're like, we don't want them coming any closer.
You're getting too close.
And it's like...
Was it where, like, the gate is slowly pushing you guys forward?
No, like, we weren't really close to it. We were still in the street or whatever. But it was funny. We have pictures with the gate open and closed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then, like... So we're trying to take selfies, and then another car pulls up, and they are also there to take a picture in front of the Home Alone house.
God, I imagine that's, like, all day, every day.
I figured in the winter, like, when the snow or whatever, but I didn't think that would be, like, this or whatever. And they're like, yeah, we're doing a whole... Zemeckis, is he one of the guys who created that, or whoever created it? I don't remember.
Christopher Columbus.
Okay,
Chris
1492.
Columbus, not Tuffer, sorry, just Chris Columbus.
So they're like, we'll take your picture if you take ours. So then, like, they took our picture, we took their picture, we all made jokes of how stupid we are. Then another family showed up.
Oh, no.
Then a group of 4 children walked by and were, like, looking at the house. It was massive.
Is this like you had to keep taking pictures? It's like that thing where you're the guy who accidentally holds the door open for one person and then you're stuck for the next 10 minutes.
I did
so you're just taking Megan's in the pictures, too.
The 2 people we took pictures of left, and then the other car, they came out, and I was like, I'll take your guys' picture. Come on. And we were all doing the same dumb, like, Home Alone, smack your face thing. But it was cool. It was kind of cool to see it and to have all the people there who were, like, everyone's just having a good time. And the people who live there are, like, angry.
So weird, man. I mean, like, they have to know that. Obviously, you said there's signs telling you don't step on the grass. So they're at least being civil. They're like, we don't mind if you take pictures. Just don't be disrespectful. But
the house recently sold, too. Like, it was up for sale within the last year, I want to say. And from the original people who live there from the movie.
Okay.
So someone lived there for a very long time, taking all
so
this.
So the family that's there now just recently?
Yeah. So, I don't know. It was interesting. It was fun. I got this Bozo thing. And, that's it, I guess. So, what are we putting inside ourselves this
Wait.
week? Huh?
I got a dad joke for you.
Oh, brother. Here we go.
All right. You ready for this one?
Okay.
All right. So, the wife says, "We just ate. Why are you making pancakes?" The husband, "They're for the dogs." Wife, "Why are you making pancakes for the dogs?" Husband, "Because they don't know how." Yeah. All right.
Did you create this joke?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I want you to write a dad joke.
All right. I'll let you know if I do. I'll let you know.
I think you should write jokes for this podcast.
Okay. I could. Yeah. Maybe I could do that. I'm pretty good with puns.
Okay. Let's.
Pretty punny.
That's where this show's headed now.
Yeah, guess so. All right, let's talk about what we're putting inside ourselves. You started last week. I'll start this week.
All
right. First off, new music. Punk band The Implants. Actually, I guess you could take the word "the" off. I think they just like implants.
I thought so too, but if you go on their Spotify, I believe it says "the."
I think just whoever uploaded it put "the," but all the albums are either way. New album, Annihilation. This is a punk band. They haven't put anything out in like 9 years. I think it was.
It's been a while.
They've got a full length and an EP. It's kind of like a super group. Strung Out, No Use for a Name. The Tank, I think, is the band that the lead singer's from. Right. But yeah, just fast punk. Have you heard it?
I have.
Yeah.
I actually, instead of listening to the Offspring album, I listened to the Implants, and I liked it. It's not great.
It's not their best. No.
No, I think like the third or fourth song was my favorite on there.
It's
Two?
three. It's
three?
Yeah, because I know which one you're talking about.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great song.
Probably my
Listening to
favorite
the whole
too.
thing, it was like, yeah, I could listen to it. I really like it. I probably like listening to even the not as good songs more than the new Offspring.
It's more poppy, I think.
Yeah.
Than, which is fine because like pop is still at least like upbeat. Good, So it's definitely not as fast as like their last full length because that one was almost every song. This one, I think there's 4 out of like 12. Yeah, I've listened to it a lot.
The first album they put out was amazing. I love that album.
And the funny thing is, I did not like them the first time I heard them. I couldn't stand his voice. But it was probably like listen 2 or 3 that I was like, all right, this guy, they're good.
Yeah, I love that first album, and everything since then has been like, all right. I don't love it, don't hate it, but you can find songs you can pick, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were a band that was like, it was weird for me because I found them at like a tough time in my life. And I listened to that album consistently during a very difficult time in my life. And so then when I was able to like fix my life or whatever, quote unquote fix, like I have no problems now.
Yeah.
But when things got better, I went to listen to that album again, and I almost had like a PTSD moment listening to them where it was like, oh, I don't want to listen to this. It brings me back to a like difficult time.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to get back to listening to and that's the album that I love. Like, and so it took me a while to like mentally get back to it.
Wow.
And then now I'm at the point where like, I feel I'm good. Like I'm happy to hear it, and like I don't get those thoughts anymore or whatever. But music's crazy, man.
Dude, almost every album like if it's an album I've listened to, obviously not something brand new.
Yeah.
I can like in my head at least have some thought of another like I know where I was when or if it's even like I remember working in this building in that room, hearing that for the first time. It's crazy. Yeah, music is
powerful.
Yeah, damn right. All right, and then the other thing. All right, this is kind of an open one.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you this because, like, I talk about this. I brought this TV show up many times. I know you're a big Arrested Development guy. I know you love a lot of the older ones, King of Queens, stuff like that. Where do you stand on The Office?
Oh, love it.
Okay,
love it.
I mean,
yeah, I was talking to my dear friend Putsky yesterday. We went out to dinner.
Out.
And I don't think he listens.
That's all right.
And
still, good guy.
We were talking about Parks and Rec, actually. Yeah. And he was saying how much he loves it. And then he brought up the fact he was like, he could never get into The Office. And I was like, how? Like, to me, I still watch The Office. I mean, it's constantly on.
It's here at my house, too. It's like that and Impractical Jokers. It's just comfort sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Just to have it there. And I'm still laughing at stuff that, I've heard. And then there's stuff that I, like, don't remember hearing that I still laugh at. But even the jokes that you've heard a million times on The Office, I'm like, man, that's so good.
Did you watch it all the way through? So like after Carell left too?
Yeah.
All right.
Everything many times through.
Oh yeah. Thoughts?
Just in
I mean, let's say seasons 8 and 9.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as good, but they're still very good.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of getting used to the new way of things, but the storylines kind of get weird, and Andy is on a boat.
My biggest problem was Jim and Pam. What they did in that final season, like making you think that they were gonna like split up.
Anything after they got together they're annoying to me.
Yeah.
Once they got together,
I think you texted me this like years back, maybe. I don't know why that sounds familiar. You asking me like, do you like Jim and Pam as a couple?
Okay.
I'm almost positive you texted me that.
I had a lot of time on my hands apparently.
Okay.
But yeah, to me it's like the whole TV show was based off of like, when are they gonna get together, and then when are things gonna line up, and then they finally do, and you celebrate. You're like, yeah, we did it. And then everything after that is just annoying. They're like, oh, having kids is hard. They're like, okay,
there's
thanks.
Even as a parent, there's
trying
things
to manage
I
a
see
business.
Like,
I'm trying to start a new business. Okay, Jim.
See, the stuff with kids, and I'm one to say this all the time. No one told me to have children. So I never, like, if people ask like, why are you tired, or why are you late, I'll use that, but it's never like, bro, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
The people who don't understand are like, yeah, because I didn't have kids. I didn't want to. It's not like you're blessed by having children. It's you decided to do that.
I do want to say,
I love my kids, but
it's not just the kids part of that bothers me. It's just like everything after it is kind of like they get annoying because they're a couple and like things worked out, and now like it's the better part of their relationship. You're like, oh, well, I wanted the drama aspect of it. I wanted to see like, Roy get angry and he comes into that's the stuff that you're like, oh my God.
That is one of the most like uncomfortable episodes though in season 9 when they go to his wedding.
Oh,
it's just like, why did they bring Roy back? What the hell was the point of this?
I agree.
It's just,
yeah, like thinking of it in your own terms, like if you were in that position, like would I go to
There's no way in hell I would have gone to that. Yeah, it's weird, but no, I figured you liked it, and I was just trying to, because I don't really have anything new to talk about. Like, I don't think it's watched, but
it's like it may be the best comedy of all time because I do think it just reaches a ton of people.
The demographic. I mean, like kids, like high school kids now, like relate to it. And
it's not my personal favorite, but it's like massive. I do think there's shows with better writing. I think Arrested Development at the first couple seasons are like
arguably
incredible.
The best.
I think there's Modern Family like is an underrated. It's not underrated because it wins all these awards and like people know it, but it's like the writing is so good on it, and I think people don't value writing as much
absolutely.
as they
it's just like, oh, he's a great actor. He's a great actor. But it's like, but that's not all his material. So awesome. All right. How about you?
For me, I only have one thing that I watched this week, right? Besides any sports or anything that I've been catching up with. There's one documentary that I watched, and I kind of did this because our friend Useless Dave was trying to convince me that Bruce Springsteen is an okay guy.
My God.
So I watched the Hulu documentary Road Diary Bruce Springsteen.
I think you like Bruce Springsteen.
No,
you are going out of your way to show how much you don't like him.
I have a lot of respect for my friend Dave. Dave, we don't always agree on the music. We don't always agree on everything. But like, I generally value his opinion.
Yeah.
And so he was telling me specific songs to watch out for. And I don't know a lot of Bruce Springsteen, right? So I go, okay, well, this is the last chance he gets. I'm giving him 90 minutes of a documentary.
Jeez.
And if I hear a song, but I love music documentaries on anything.
Yeah, okay.
So like that's part of the reason to watch this is like I'm interested in that kind of stuff anyway.
All right.
So if he can't win me over here, there's no winning me over, right?
All right.
So I'm watching.
It's the last straw.
I'm trying to see if there's at least one song that I'm like, yes. And so I'm going through. I'm watching all this. It was kind of cool. Bruce Springsteen is the voice, the moderator. What's the word?
Narrator.
Narrator. That's the word I'm looking for.
Moderator.
Yeah, So anyway, he's narrating the thing, which is kind of cool. He's like, I'm from New Jersey. It's literally like lyrics to his songs, and it sounds how he sings. To me, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You can tell he's like a nice, kind person, which I love. He's rehearsing with his whole band, who like, it's so cool to see a bunch of 80-year-olds who are super talented, and they're all just like, all right, here we go, and like trying to figure stuff out. That's why I like watching this stuff. The music is big to me, musicians.
Yeah.
Right? So I knew I was going to at least enjoy that part of it. I get to see Silvio from The Sopranos. I'm a big fan because he's in the band.
Yeah, I always forget that.
Stevie Van Zandt. And then Max Weinberg, who I love from the Conan O'Brien show. So they're interviewing all these people, and they're talking to Silvio, and he's like, people don't know Bruce like I know Bruce. Yeah, Bruce. So it's
He's
funny.
got like jaws.
Then they talk to Max, and he's like, incredibly deep voice with like cigarette.
Oh, I never would have expected that.
I didn't.
I thought he would have been like really quirky.
Well, you're probably like me. You grew up watching him on Conan, and he's like, "Hey, Conan," or like he's quiet or whatever, but he has like this deep, raspy almost voice. It was kind of cool. So the music, like musician aspect of it, I love watching that kind of stuff. As far as like the songs went, nothing got me, right? So I'm watching song after song, and they're showing them playing it live, and the show looks great. If you love Bruce, I mean, there's plenty of white people who love Bruce Springsteen. The quote I came up with was music for people who like want to dance at weddings. Like people who are at weddings who are like they can't wait till it's like time for the chicken dance or whatever. It's like the Chappelle Show
skit, the one where he's with John Mayer.
Exactly.
When white people hear guitar riffs.
Yes, yeah, that's what it like. His music is. That's how I see it. Anyway.
Okay.
So people who love to dance at weddings, who are like twist and shout. Oh my! And they're like surprised that twist and shout is.
Oh my God! They're playing YMCA.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what the crowd seemed like to me. But I can't be mad for someone who brings joy to that many people. You know, like it's not. Nothing bad has come out about Bruce Springsteen that I know of besides he's from New Jersey or whatever. Yeah. So it's like, all right, it's fine. I don't like hate him by any means. So I'm listening. They finally get to a song that is really cool. I guess 2 people died like over the years in the Bruce Springsteen band. They've been a band for 50 years. It's going to happen. So 2 people died, and he sings this song called Night Shift. And it's he doesn't use the name of the people, but other people in the band think that he's singing about the people who have passed.
Okay.
So it was really like
he won't come out and say.
As far as I understood it, no.
Okay.
Like it was.
So it's like implied.
Kind of. Yeah, and they asked the band, and they're not saying it for sure. They're saying they think this is what he's doing, but he's also like an introvert. And they're like, it's weird because...
We've actually never met Bruce.
they're like, he's an introvert, but he's also the greatest entertainer of all time. Like, it's such a weird dynamic or whatever. So he's singing this song, and it's a really, you could tell it's like from the heart and kind of a sad song. And he has a part with like another singer in his band where they're like hitting high notes at the same time, and it's ad lib.
Like singing at each other.
They really are.
Oh God!
And so that's what I'm saying.
Inches away.
Like in the '80s, that must have been great to see people like doing that.
Just seeing silhouettes on the side of a head, 2 guys singing at each other.
And so I'm like, okay, well, this song I'm gonna listen to it on Spotify then because I'll give this song a chance, and then I could tell Dave I like a Bruce Springsteen song. So I look it up. And I listened to it, and I'm like, it's okay. I don't hate it or whatever. I'm not going to listen to it. And then I figured, let me look this up. What album is this on? It is on a covers album. It is not a Bruce Springsteen song. It is a Commodores song.
Gotcha.
And apparently I like the Commodores, but I still don't like Bruce Springsteen. So, sorry, Bruce. I gave it a shot.
Sorry,
you seem
Dave.
like a nice guy. There was a cool part where, like, I guess... At their live show, people hold up signs of random songs. They don't even have to be their Bruce songs. And he'll jump into the crowd, grab signs, and come out and show the band. And then they have to try and figure out how to play those songs. So that's kind of a cool thing. I mean, it seems like a great show. If you're into it, it's not me. I don't like weddings. I don't like Bruce Springsteen. I'm sorry. And that's all I got that I put into myself.
All right. Well, then let's get to our topic of the week. It is our top 3 romantic comedies.
Yes.
How you feeling about this one?
I'm feeling great for the thumbnail. I can't wait to make the artwork.
Yeah,
for
that
this
should be
one.
fun.
Or I should say I can't wait for AI to make the artwork.
You're the AI on 2 weeks ago episode, the slap fights. Dude, that scared the hell out of me. Seriously, I don't know, man. It looked exactly like my brother.
When
like,
you told me that,
and even Joni, like I showed her the picture. I'm like, who does this look like? And she's like, well, it kind of looks like you. And I'm like, it is me. But and then like when I posted it, because if you see her comment on there, she's like, now I see it. Like,
yeah, I I didn't see it until you said it.
And he has like a shaved head too, so it's like...
It was great.
All right, so why don't you start off?
All right, so top 3 romantic movies or romantic comedies.
Yeah, chick flicks.
All right, I'm in. I like the topic.
Okay.
So it was a little difficult because I don't have like that many movies that I've seen.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of really do the homework on
Like,
it.
is arachnophobia a romantic comedy?
But I did know my number 1, like I said. So number 3 for me, I'm only using this one because it is a great movie. I love the movie, and it was on a top 50 list that I saw. Okay. So I'm like, okay, if it's on a list, it counts. Wedding Singer.
Oh, right? Yeah, definitely.
So that counts. He's going after the girl. The girl has a guy, Julia Gulia. So you're going to marry Julia Gulia.
It's a fantastic movie.
Great movie. In this house...
Isn't Big Pussy in that? Hey! Ooh, can't say that. Yeah, I believe he's like one of like the brother-in-law or something like that. Okay. Maybe I might be wrong. I think I am wrong.
I don't know.
The guy that's like, oh shit, I got water all over myself. And he's like watering the...
Oh, no, that's
okay, all right, yeah.
That might be a guy from Italian movies.
Yeah. I'm picturing him now. It's definitely not...
in this house, I, once a week, will say, there were cones.
Yeah,
do you know what that?
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
No, I just love how she's just like, wow, look at him go, and he's like got the cardboard cutout. He's like tossing it in there. Yeah, and he's like, you hit a couple of the. They were cones.
And that movie has David Arquette's brother in it, one who had passed away. Yeah. Brother, sister. I'm not sure what the situation was there.
Possibly both at one point.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there was an official change there.
And then. Yeah, just great movie, and even Drew Barrymore doesn't ruin it for me. And I'm not
Buscemi too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Wedding Singer! Oh! He falls off the step.
Yeah, so Wedding Singer is definitely, if we're counting it as a romantic comedy or whatever, yeah, definitely my number 3.
Well, of course, because we love coincidences on this show. My number 3 is actually 50 First Dates, starring Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Also,
okay,
have you seen this?
No.
Okay.
I started watching it before, and I had enough of Drew Barrymore. I can't.
Yeah, I know you're not a fan.
Not a fan.
So in this movie, she has an accident where every single day she forgets. So it's like when she goes to sleep the next day, she doesn't remember anything. So there's the comedy behind that because it's Sandler every day having to try to convince her that it's like, hey, we're a couple. And it's like some days it's like, oh, she's in a shitty mood. I'm not going to try today. So it's like, because literally every day is new to her. So it gets a little like Groundhog Day-y at times.
Nothing is funnier than dementia. Yeah.
No, it's
great point here.
Yeah. But like Sean Astin plays her brother and he's like on steroids. So he's just like, he's like a juice head.
Okay.
Like there's a part where he just like jumps up and he's hanging from like a ceiling like lamp. And it's such a funny movie. But at the end of it, when you actually kind of see more of like a serious part, her reacting to, because every day she has to find out that it's like, what happened? You had this terrible accident. You don't remember, and so you see like the good and the bad. And then at the end of the movie, when it's like, this is going to be a forever thing, but you're like, okay, it looks awesome. Like, it looks like maybe they have figured this out. So,
okay.
But yeah, just, I think Sandler and Barrymore together are great. Like, I don't love her, but I don't despise her.
Yeah, like I have a tough time saying I hate anybody these days because that's such a strong word. That's not the case. It's just like I'm not interested. It's like she's like the Bruce Springsteen of romantic comedy. Something where I'm like, all right, I don't need to watch this. I know how it is, or whatever. I'm just not. No thanks.
All right, what's your 2?
Number 2. It's a Drew Barrymore movie. No,
jeez.
It's 2 movies that I'm combining. Do you know what I'm gonna say when I say that?
I bet if you gave me time, I could, but I don't want to.
It's a You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle.
All right.
Love both of those movies. I'm a huge Tom Hanks guy.
Now, I've never seen either one. They're not. Are they? They're not sequels, correct? Or they're not?
No, they're just kind of similar.
Okay.
I don't want to say similar storyline, but it is kind of like if you've seen one, you've seen the other. It's like
Kevin Smith. He uses those characters in every movie, so sometimes you're like, wait, are they playing the same ones? And it's like, no, they're purposely. It's like almost like
And
yes,
it's one of
but
those
no.
things where if you say like a quote from it, you're going to be like, which one is that from?
Yep.
Right? It may, it's one of them.
So, well, that's going back to what we just talked about, like 50 First Dates and The Wedding Singer, and then a couple of those other ones with those two in them. Yeah, it's like, wait, is that from this or this? Like Blended, I think, is another one they did.
Yeah, the stuff that Sandler did after a certain time is like, to me, is
redundant.
Like, kind of the same.
Except
same
for
stuff.
Uncut Gems. Did you see that?
That was a great movie.
Wow.
So you've got Male Sleepless in Seattle. I've been a bit fan of them since I was younger or whatever. They're both good. They're both funny. Tom Hanks could do whatever he wants on whoever's island he wants to be. I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so.
Although
I've heard some not so good things about this newest movie that he did.
I was just asking the one with Robin Wright.
Yeah.
Really?
I've heard interesting at first and then kind of like, all right. So.
I will say he did a movie, I don't know, 5-6 years ago called Bridge of Spies, I think it was called. That was like one of the only ones I watched, and I'm like, this is so fucking boring. Like, I was not entertained at all.
He was in one of those Elvis movies as like the
that's right.
Colonel
he was,
Parker.
The Elvis movie.
It was horrible, I thought. I was like, what accent
I didn't see that, but I saw in the trailers. Yeah, it's just like, what are we doing here, guys?
All right, so that's my number 2.
All right, my number 2 is kind of an obscure one. It stars David Schwimmer and Jason Lee, former skateboarder. It's called Kissing a Fool. You ever heard of this movie?
No.
All right, so this movie is, you've got David Schwimmer in the middle here. I can't remember the main lead actress, her name, but she's like his publicist or something like that. And then Jason Lee is his best friend. So he introduces these two. They come up with this plan like overnight where like they each go to his house separately, like, you son of a bitch, how did you set me up with this person? Da da da. And it's like a big joke, like because they apparently had like the best date ever or whatever.
Okay.
So it's a really funny setup. And then just like the movie throughout, it's like the two people start. It's one of those like, well, they should be falling in love, but we're falling in love instead. And I haven't seen it in a long ass time, but I mean, there's some really like David Schwimmer's like top tier prick in this.
I feel like
just very cocky. And...
I feel like he doesn't have to stretch for that one.
Yeah,
At least from like what you like hear about him, you're like kind of like, that's probably. I believe he was also a prick number 1 in a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode or something like that.
Yeah, was it not Parks and Rec? 30 Rock. There was an episode where he was like a recycle guy, and he was just like so over the top, and like he's a funny actor, and I mean he can do serious stuff too. Like he was in Band of Brothers, like that HBO show. Yeah, and I mean like hearing him as like a drill sergeant asshole is just like, damn, like I hate him even more.
Are you a Friends person?
Yeah. I mean, like I don't own them or anything, but I definitely think I give it all the credit it deserves.
You're not going to start a podcast about Friends?
Not Friends. No, too many episodes.
All right.
All right. So yeah, Heartbreakers. Or I'm not. Well, I just spoiled my number 1.
All right. Fool. Well, let's talk.
I'll just do my number 1 then. It's called Heartbreakers.
I'm wearing a Heartbreak Kid shirt.
That is awesome, and actually, I didn't even think of this. Jason Lee's in this movie as well. This is Jason Lee, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sigourney Weaver, and Ray Liotta. Excellent cast. This was like a big theater movie. I definitely remember seeing it. Jennifer Love Hewitt. You haven't seen this, have you?
No, I've never even heard of it.
It's so good, and it's like Jennifer Love Hewitt, like babe form, like at the max.
Yeah.
And it's like on purpose too, because her and Sigourney Weaver, they're mother-daughter, and they're just like con artists. So a lot of that, they use their looks a lot, and Sigourney Weaver looks great in this movie too. But just Jennifer Love Hewitt, as hot as she is, still like just an amazingly funny actor. Like how I threw amazingly funny just to extend the word.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stop thinking about that since you brought up those annoyances. And that was months ago when you're like people who just... Because like, I'm sorry real quick, not to like toot my daughter's horn, but like Sadie got a thing, like a report, whatever. And the teacher did say it's like she's doing amazingly well. And even I was like... That's unnecessary. It's like, it's overkill.
Yesterday I was thinking about Seemingly, because I saw it on an article, and I was like, stupid. And then you brought it up, and Utterly is the one that I can't stop hearing. I hear everybody all the time on podcasts and stuff that I listen to. That is utterly unacceptable. And I'm like, no, stop using it. Unless you're talking about a cow, I don't want to hear it. I know you're using it right. It's just stop.
I know we're going off topic. What bugs the shit out of me, though, is people who still like be like, oh, you can find me on X or Twitter. It's like, it's X. Just say X. Like,
That's
everyone
true.
is still saying, like, formerly Twitter. It's like, it's been like 5-6 months, guys. It's like, we can just call it X.
It's interesting because I believe you're dead naming it if you call it Twitter, right? And that's what a lot of people on Twitter don't like, when you dead name gender people who switch over, right? Because if you call Bruce Jenner, you're dead naming him, because that's not his name anymore. He's whatever his name is now. Caitlyn.
Yeah. I had to think too. Yeah, Caitlyn Jenner.
So like, you're doing the same thing to the company.
I don't know, man.
I know we're big on issues here, clearly. So Heartbreakers.
But yeah, Heartbreakers again. Jason Lee is kind of like the target, I will say, in this movie. Like when they figure out that there's this big, because he's got a lot of money, so it's like we got to scam this guy, and so that's like the crux of the movie, is them trying to do that. And Ray Liotta's like, he's like kind of slimy, but he's like, what's their name's ex. Or no, he's a guy in the past that Sigourney Weaver screwed over. So he's another guy that was like, but he kind of gets like brought back into it, and just a really funny movie.
All right.
Yeah, Heartbreakers. Yeah. All right, what's your number one?
My number one was super easy, and it's actually funny because you could probably put any of this guy's movies in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in. This is Love Actually, Hugh Grant.
Okay.
A lot of people make fun of this movie. I think it's the perfect Christmas and romantic movie. There's like 10 different love stories playing out, and some of them are like children's love, some of it's old people love, some of it is cheating on their wife, some of it is, like the president and his maid, or like it's all kinds of different stories. Then there's an old like punk rock guy who's like loves his manager. It's just like a whole... Yeah, it's just a love fest. It's a stupid, dumb...
I honestly don't think I've ever seen that.
Great movie. Hugh Grant, I like all his movies. About a Boy was also, I think, another one. Like
a Mickey Blue Eyes guy?
The more I name them, the more my wife's going to make fun of me later.
Okay, so we'll stop there.
But Love Actually is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Wow.
And, so that's number one. Top 3 romantic movies. We did it.
Do you have any potent notables?
I don't. I was going to do whichever one I didn't say out of You've Got Mail or Sleepless in Seattle, but I was just like, let's put them together. So
I have 2 that are debatable if they're romantic comedies, but they're like coming of age movies that have teen romance. So we'll say romantic comedies. Can't Hardly Wait and Mean Girls.
Okay, I've never seen Mean Girls. I've probably seen Can't Hardly Wait like once, but I know the general story.
Mean Girls is legit funny. Like Tina Fey, Tim Meadows, like they've got a great, like Amy Poehler's in it too, like a great SNL cast with like really funny writing, like legit, like a movie where you'd just be like, I don't want to see that, but like you will laugh if you watch it. I feel not the remake, because they made a new one in 2024.
I feel like a lot of people don't give Tina Fey her due because she played what's her name, the politician.
Oh yeah, Sarah.
Yeah,
Paulson?
so Sarah Palin.
Palin. There
so
you go.
if you like weren't if you liked Sarah Palin, you're like, yeah, Tina Fey, what does she know? She's just on SNL. That hasn't been funny since 1941 or whatever. You're like, all right, shut up. Yeah, you're an idiot. But her writing is great. I read her book.
Okay.
Great.
Good.
Great book. Great book. It's like very well written, and she's just a great comedy writer in general.
Did you watch 30 Rock?
Yeah. Not like many times.
Okay.
And definitely more the early seasons than later on. But
the
writing on that is incredible.
Yeah.
It's such a great show. It's so quick too.
Good stuff.
All right. I'm probably not going to watch Mean Girls, but I do believe that it is good.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we're going to pick our top 3 for next week. Let's bring the bucket down.
You're going to have to be the ramp
again.
Yeah,
do the ramp.
Yeah. Solid.
All right. I do have full veto power. I use it every single week. So let's see what we're doing here. All right. We're going to do, and it's still so weird to me. Nick, if you ever listen to this, you and Sasha have the exact same handwriting. It's crazy. Top 3 male vocalists.
Okay, so music, male vocalist. Pavarotti, obviously.
Yes, Yanni,
Pavarotti. Anybody who name ends
Davey
in a
Havoc.
Vowel. Ugh, don't get me started. That'll be a fun one. I think we have a bunch of different directions to go in that one too.
Yeah, so...
is it male? Did you say male vocalist?
Yeah, male vocalists.
Yeah, all right. I'm interested.
Yeah, so, we never stick to, like, a norm unless I say, like, no cartoons or like that, so...
Okay, no cartoon male vocalist.
No cartoon male vocalist. Yes, let's do actual humans.
All right, just for this episode.
Just for this one.
Thank you guys for listening, as always, and we will see you next week.
Later.